Hello dear nieces and nephews, your Uncle Otter is back, but instead of trying to get you to invest in my latest multi-level marketing scheme selling
Vitamin X, the only vitamin that allows you to see emotion.
I've got a brand new Grim Dawn video for you that's all about pets. Before we truly dive in, I would like to suggest a resource for all of your pet needs. Grim Dawn forum user Maya is the end-all be-all for all things pets in Grim Dawn, from excellent leveling guides to builds for every different flavor of pet class you can possibly imagine. If I've got a Bachelor of Arts in Grim Dawn, then Maya has a PhD in pet, and it absolutely shows. I've linked Maya's Carnival Guide, a catch-all pet-based leveling guide with gobs of great information. Check that out in the description. If you want to support your dear old Uncle Otter and you're not in the market for
Vitamin X, the vitamin that gives you the confidence but not the charisma to start your own podcast.
considering liking this video and subscribing for more Grim Dawn content, it would mean the world to me. With all that gibberish out of the way, let's do the damn thing. Today we're talking about DuskDeep86's legendary lightning-based pet Conjurer, one of the strongest pet-based builds in the game. The core of this build uses the 4-piece Beast Caller set, which gives pets a massive surge of both offensive and defensive stats, as well as bolstering the amount of time your primal spirit lives for and giving you an additional Briarthorn summon. Additionally, this build utilizes the mythical spark of Ultos and 2 mythical glyphs of Kefel-Zoth in order to convert almost 100% of our pet's physical damage to lightning damage. The most important stat on the rings is the pet physical to lightning damage conversion, which you want to be as close to 24% as possible. If you want to try your own spin on this build, you can work in the 4-piece Bismeal set, sacrificing your 4-piece Beast Caller bonus. This version of the build will focus more heavily on the Occultist Familiar summon instead of the Briarthorn. You could also use the offhand Gate of Many Worlds, a powerful pet-based offhand with a strong elemental and physical-based summon. Our core devotions include the Widow for its powerful percent lightning resistance reduction, Roan's Crown for the flat elemental resistance reduction, Shepherd's Crook for the strong bonus crit damage buffs to your pets, and Ishtak the Spring Maiden to give your pets an incredible amount of damage resistance. We can get a healthy amount of personal survivability through Solemn Watcher and Obelisk of Menhir. In order to get this devotion set up, first put a point into the blue crossroads, then max out Bowl to buff your pet's damage output, then Dryad to give you sustainability. Fill out Sailor's Guide and Eel, which will give you enough affinity to fill out Solemn Watcher. Double back for Lion, which will give us the base affinity for Ishtak Spring Maiden. Put a single purple node in the crossroads, which will open up our Shepherd's Crook. As soon as Crook is filled out, take back your point into the purple affinity. Put a single point in the green crossroads, which will unlock the Raven constellation. This time, leave the green point in the crossroads because both Roan's Crown and Widow are both unlocked with 6 green affinity. Put 3 points into Roan's Crown in order to unlock the Elemental Storm, and then fill out Widow for Arcane Bomb. Our final 4 points go into Obelisk of Menhir for the armor and defensive ability. Shaman is going to be our primary class for this build, and it gets 50 out of 50 points. The Shaman signature spell is the best pet buff we can get access to, granting our pets massive critical damage bonuses, as well as a massive 20% damage absorption, so we need to make sure it's overcapped. Since we get a much higher uptime on our Conjure Primal Spirit, it becomes a massive part of our damage output, so it also gets overcapped. The last thing to get overcapped in our Shaman tree is the Briarthorn base skill, for the flat stat and base damage buffs. The Ground Slam ability gives our Briarthorn a bit of extra crowd control, but the ability itself won't increase its damage output by much for the amount of point it requires, so we leave it at 1, or 7 with point bonus modifiers. The ability Emboldening Roar lets our Briarthorn buff all of our other pets by increasing their offensive ability and physical resistance. Since the physical resistance suffers from diminishing returns after being soft-capped, we leave it at 12 out of 12 points. A single point into Wind Devil with the Raging Tempest soft cap layers on another source of elemental resistance reduction. A soft capped Wendigo totem gives us and our pets excellent sustain, which is key for pet uptime. Finally, a single point into Monk Dragon's Pact will unlock both Heart of the Wild and Oakskin, which will both get soft cap for the strong defensive buffs. The Occultist tree plays second fiddle here, but still gets 50 points to unlock powerful pet buffs. A single point to Bonds of Bismael will get 10 points thanks to our bonuses from our skills, but this unlocks the Manipulation node, which gives our pets a much needed boost to total speed, increasing their DPS. Blood of Dreeg and Aspect of the Guardian of course get maxed out because they're good abilities. A flat heal, a massive chunk of offensive ability, poison resistance, and physical resistance, all of which gets translated onto our pets, is a no-brainer. Curse of Frailty gets 4 points to increase its radius to a usable amount, while Vulnerability gets maxed out for the elemental resistance reduction. Our Occultist pets get minimal investment due to their lack of viability in this build. Finally, a single point in Dreeg's Evil Eye with the Transmuter, and a single point into Doombolt make for useful devotion proccers. This build works like any other pet build with a few caveats. Since your primal spirit should have close to 100% uptime, make sure to cast it on cooldown to ensure it's doing as much damage as possible. Pay close attention to your pet's health and use your Blood of Druid proactively in order to get as much healing as possible to keep your pets healthy. Finally, make sure you're resummoning your pets when necessary as they die. Your more fragile pets like your Hellhound and your Familiar might need to be resummoned more often. As for the viability of this build, as of patch 1172, pet builds are among the strongest in the game, and this build is the cream of the crop. With some tweaking, DuskDeep86 was able to clear Shattered Realm 120, which is beyond absurd, and most players should be able to clear most endgame content with little practice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that about does it for this video. If you like the content, then make sure you give this video a like and subscribe for more Grim Dawn content in the future, including a Grim Dawn D&D video podcast in the coming months that I'm so excited to get to you, as well as builds and guides. If you're interested in purchasing some
Vitamin X, a substance the FDA referred to as if death was able to hold you at knife point.
then make sure to meet me under the overpass. You'll know it when you see it.